The show will begin in 5,
4,
3, 2,
1.
Thursday night CrossFit talk with Scott Schweitzer and Jamie Latimer.
We about to change the game. We out here taking names. Let our voices rise. Let them reach the skies. We about to change the game. We out here taking names. Let our voices rise. Let them reach the skies. Hickory dock, giving them all that we got. Kick on the door, try to knock, but nobody answered. I'm going hard and taking my chances. I keep it moving, I keep advancing, keeping it gangster.
What is going on? Man, I feel so gangster with that plane.
Oh, PK with the first.
Yeah. And then Kenneth with the bottom.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well
There
done,
we
guys.
go. So awesome having you all in here. We got Jay Birch, we got Kenneth, we got Philip, we got Omar so far, and hopefully more to come. We've got Jamie live at the Crash Crucible, where she will be competing for the next 3 days. You checked in today. We will have Cory Leonard dropping in to talk some of the stuff of the week and look at what Crash has going on. But you checked in yesterday, today.
Well, I flew in
Today's
yesterday.
been a
So
long day. It feels like 2 days to me.
yeah, I mean, I flew in yesterday and I went to the gym yesterday, but the actual check-in for the comp was today.
So what? How was check-in? What did the venue look like?
It's awesome. Oh my gosh, he's got a great facility. Like, I mean, the turf area is amazing. He's got like 3 or 4 extra rooms, like a nice warm-up space. Hey, Cory. A really cool like athlete hangout area with a couch, pool table, some kid basketball, like hoop things where the net brings you back the ball, right? Pac-Man back there. I don't know. It's there's a little kitchen counter, microwave, fridge, pool table. Yeah. It's cool. It's a cool gym. All the toys.
Kenneth DeLapp says, until we get a Jamie shirt, I guess I'll just have to rock my Colton shirt all weekend. Well, I went on the Heat One app to pick my top 10s, and Jamie wasn't an option, so I had to write her in.
Bold move, Cotton.
Bold move.
See how it pays off. Yeah.
After the first event, they're going to be like, no, she needs moved up to elites. That's my prediction.
We'll see where I stack up.
Yeah, that's why they pay me the big bucks to do this show, because for that insight. So the facility looks good. So it's going to handle all these athletes. You think, space for crowd.
Yeah. So he was real, like we had a little briefing, and it was pretty open of when you came, but when I got there, there was probably, I don't know, 15 of us, and JR actually spoke to us and kind of just like did a rundown, and he's like on time. Like that's what he's known for at these comps, and it's quick turnarounds. Like they're trying to stream it. They want to make it good for the fans watching. It's a 2-minute interval between heats. Like that's it. Like he's like lined up, and you're going out there and you get 2 minutes and the clock starting. That's it. Like it's quick.
So he said, don't be Cory Leonard and talk to every other athlete after the event and see how it went for them before you leave the floor.
Correct.
I've issued a formal apology to MFC for holding up everybody and the heat's behind me. It's fine.
Well, my concern as being a volunteer who did this for a while, resetting the equipment in 2 minutes is like ballsy.
That's aggressive.
Yeah.
Especially like yoke Zerker carries, and
that's the first event. Yep. I mean, so there's really nothing to set up, and those should be pretty near where they're going to be. I mean, I can see if somebody finished on the Zercher carry and it was like halfway in the floor, someone's gonna have to run out. But I don't know. Like, there shouldn't be too much to reset in that one. The yokes are a standard height. You can't touch it. So, like, 38 inches for women and 42 for men. Good luck, Colton, because I personally thought 38 was, like, questionably.
I was about to say, dude, Colton, he's gonna have to hold it like this.
You know, you can't. It has to be held in the elbow pit.
Well, and I was looking through the list of athletes. Like Jack Rosema is not much taller than Colton. So there are some athletes on the shorter side competing. That's crazy.
Yeah. So they're just gonna really have to like hoist it up to like make sure it's up, and I don't know. Yeah.
Said 42 inches for dudes.
42 inches for dudes, 38 for women.
I'm 5'6", dude. I don't know how well that would work.
It's, if you really like, I think it's probably fine. I'm sure he picked like the shortest person of each gender, sex, and figured out what would be like the bare minimum that could handle it. So, but yeah, it's one set, and so there's not going to be, and he probably, I mean, I think the way he set these up is so there's not a lot of like moving around equipment and changing of things. Like, you can go change your GHD in the second event, and that's it.
So I pulled up the workout just so the listeners can kind of see what this is. And that is, it is 3 rounds for time, 3 to 10 pegboard ascents, 20 to 15 calorie ski erg, 100-foot Zerker yoke carry, 285, 185. Time cap is 14 minutes. So, and then they show what it was based off of. And it was based off the 2018 Games final event, Aeneas, and the winners of that, Marquand Jones and Mackenzie Riley.
And Marquand is here.
So is that the one?
They didn't win it. They're competing this weekend, and these were their times. They finished 13th and 30th.
Okay. Makes sense. Yep.
So that is the first workout of the day. And yet, you don't have to reset a pegboard unless the pegs get stuck.
Yeah.
And probably they have a long pole to do that. So yeah, and the skier don't need to be reset.
Is that that's not the workout where oh god dog it. Pat was chasing the plate across the floor, was it? Because he was trying to load.
No, I don't think so. That had to be something else. They had to. I can't remember what one that was, but
Then that was in.
I think it was an 18.
I want to say it was an 18.
It was,
but I don't think. Yeah, I don't know if it was that workout. I can't remember
I
what.
don't know if that was that one or not. I just remember because I've seen it happen to like the different weights.
Yeah,
I remember them having to load it.
It very well may have been.
I just remember how comical that was, seeing him just chasing a plate across the floor. Poor dude. He's got the worst luck.
I know. Yeah.
So that's event 1. Do you want to go through the events? Are you good with it, or anything else you want to talk about that you see anybody?
I saw Aaliyah yesterday, gave her a hug. I didn't see a whole lot of people really. I saw like James Sprague was there when I got there, or we got there at like the same time. And then Easy and Marquand came in this afternoon when I got there. Hannah was there, Hannah Black. Yeah. Didn't see Colton. I don't know if they're
Cory is true. And Kenneth says Cory with the facial hair, peak male beauty.
You see me without facial hair, you would probably realize how close to being accurate that actually is. Because without, I look like I'm 7, so it's fine.
All right, so the second event is reflip, 4 rounds for time, 400-meter run, 300 GHD, 30 GHD sit-ups, 7 flip sled, Time cap 14 minutes. So
I
did you get your hands
actually-
on a flip sled?
I did. And I actually think that is a time cap of 17 minutes. Unless he changed something. I was looking at it. Yeah, that doesn't seem right.
I'm just going with what they have on Instagram.
Okay. Yeah, I did. I flipped the sled today. It was okay. It's different.
And he has
It'll
Are
be
you
fun.
running?
So as long as it doesn't rain, we are running outside. Correct. I would much prefer. I want a foot race.
It's so much easier to get an idea where you're at if you're actually running,
Mhm.
as opposed to
Exactly.
just everybody on a machine and you don't know where anybody's at.
Right.
And you love GHDs and you love to run. So now that you've touched a flip sled, you pretty confident in this one?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I'm gonna be like quick at the flip sled, but I'm excited to do it in a workout.
I'm confident. I think this
Okay.
is one of yours. All right, so we have that, and it was based after a 2016 regional event with 3 rounds of 400-meter run, 40 GHDs, 7 deadlifts. So deadlifts instead of flip sled.
The flip sled. This one we get to go out and adjust our GHD. That's the only thing we'll do. So we'll run out on the floor, put the GHD where we want it, and get lined up. Yep, I'll have my CEO
and it
wristbands
is-
on.
You will?
I will. I love those wristbands.
Awesome. And what's up, Jonathan? All right, here we go. Event 3. Rewind for time. 300-foot handstand walk. 60-foot course. 20 feet of it is a handstand walk obstacle ramp and ramp. 20 feet of it is hurdles, 5 of them. Then 20 feet is handstand walk obstacle stair. Time cap 10 minutes. Have you done the ramp yet?
I did. I practiced it today. That was my first time ever touching a ramp or stairs. Yeah, I made it.
Well, that's a good start.
Yeah, that's a good start, right? I'm not gonna race through it and be like, I'm not gonna go ramp, hurdles, stairs, rest. Like I haven't had enough exposure to this, but
I'm assuming
can get
each
through
one
it.
has to be unbroken.
Each 20-foot section has to be unbroken, correct? So I'll do the ramp and then stop and then kick back up and do the hurdles. I saw people there doing the whole length, all 60 feet unbroken, which is insane to me.
But it's 5 rounds of that, right?
Yes.
And with handstand and it having to be unbroken, you could get a bottleneck if someone hits fatigue, they could be SOL.
Correct.
So this is one you almost have to run your own race.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, if you start falling and yeah, it's not gonna be good. The hurdles are much bigger than I practiced. And the way they're set up is closer, like they're bigger and closer, so I don't have like time in between them to get my bearings really, and like get rebalanced. So it's like almost like a huge step and another huge step, and like that just throws me off. So those were tricky for me, but
So Kenneth is asking, is handstand walking getting gimmicky like crossovers at this point? And I mean, the ramps and the stairs have been around for a while. That's not changing. Yeah. The hurdles, I've seen them in different capacities, but these are the foam ones, right? The big. So I've never seen these before. So this is a little bit.
9 inches by 9 inches. It's like a pretty big block. It's bigger than I expected.
Wow. Yeah, that's a big step.
So,
I would say this about the obstacles and whatnot, as far as being gimmicky, like the crossovers, is that, and I've told you this before, it's a party trick. So is the crossovers. However, the handstand walking is a party trick I might actually do at a party, as opposed to, yo, want to see me jump rope? Like that just
right.
pull out my super cool beaded rope. Uh, but I think this, like having the obstacles, is way more of a test of actual fitness than it is just being able to do crossovers efficiently and get on
So the
and
real
get on.
question is, are you just still butthurt from not being able to do crossovers?
So fun fact, Tuesday after my class workout, I decided to try and do that workout again, and I failed spectacularly again. Mostly
Oh
because the
no.
class workout had, yeah, well, it was my own fault for doing it on Tuesday because we had 200 more doubles in the, or 200 dubs in the class workout, and then like 15 minutes later, I was like, let me try this workout again. It should be fine. It was not fine.
Boy.
Oh,
No big deal.
all right. So let's go to event 4. This is one that Jamie's super excited about. This is the thruster ladder. It starts with 10 thrusters at 185, 135, 8 thrusters at 205, 145, 6 thrusters at 225, 155, 4 at 245, 165, and 2 at 265, 175.
On the shorty bar.
On a shorty bar.
No whip.
I might be able to complete the women's ladder. Might.
I cannot.
In my poor state. But man, that men's weight is aggressive.
Yeah. That's how I feel looking at the women's.
So I'm like, and I'm probably just so out of touch because thrusters are not something that you see typically in a CrossFit competition. Like James Sprague is long levers and not the strongest guy. Is he going to be able to finish this ladder?
I don't know. I didn't look at, if you looked at on his Instagram, he put out the top 10 thrusters. And what I found interesting is there was more men that have higher thruster weights than for that final bar than women who can complete that final bar.
Wow.
So
I mean,
yeah,
does it have to be an actual, like a straight up thruster all the way, or are we just doing squat clean thrusters at that point? I mean,
Come on, Corey. We all know what a thruster is.
no, I'm just saying, like, it says thruster, but I mean, if you're doing a squat clean, you're basically doing a cluster at that point because of the weight
Yeah.
so heavy. Like, is that going to be allowed, or you'd be like, no rep?
I was just making a joke about Boz's response during the open.
Yeah. Well,
I will be clustering them all, Corey.
yeah.
Maybe not the 135, but yeah. It's gross.
Jody asks Corey, did you want to do Crash Crucible?
I am in no way, shape, form, or fashion even close to being anywhere near anybody's level that is doing Crash Crucible. I'm looking at the women's weight like Scott and going, man, I don't know. And I like doing thrusters, but that's heavy.
Yeah,
It is
2016 Scott would have demolished the women's weights, but I still don't know if 2016 Scott could have gotten through that men's ladder. And I'm looking down here at people who are in this, who have done the OG version, and they're all like cap. And Easy Muhammad finished.
Lift heavy
Yeah,
often,
but
as in every day.
squat snatches are way different than thrusters.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, I will be very curious to see how the women do on this based off of their listed thruster weights.
Aaliyah may do, and Hannah Black.
Yes. There's a couple more. There was like 5 or 6 women that I was like, oh, they'll should do pretty well. But then, I mean, I feel like there's going to be quite a few women looking at that 175 bar, and some of us looking at that 165 bar.
Yeah.
Jamie, when is this one?
This is Saturday morning.
Saturday morning.
Afternoon. This is the second event on Saturday. So
I actually love a good ladder. Like as someone who was a lifter, like that, the ladders really, I love those. I love watching those events. Like I will definitely be tuning in for that one for sure. I'll probably be tuning in for all of them, but because I'm just a geek. But yeah, I love the ladder. So I'm excited about that. So event 5, retool for time. Man, 100 toes to bar, 100 dual hang kettlebell snatch, 100 box jump overs, step down, and 100 dual kettlebell squats anyhow. And this is off the hundreds, which was pull up, kettlebell swings, double unders, and overhead squats back in the day. And I think I said this on the show before. Patrick O'Connell, when I was talking to him, he said the hundreds was his favorite workout he ever did at regionals and he qualified 7 times. And he said that was his favorite. And it's probably because he was in the Central East and he got to line up with all the big hitters from the Central East in the same event and got to hang out with them. So, but yeah, how you feeling about that? I know you like the toes to bar.
yeah, except for it's not a typical toe to bar.
Okay, explain.
It's on a floating bar, so it's kind of like toes to ring.
Like a trapeze.
It's exactly what it is.
What?
Yes, it's a game changer.
What?
Yeah.
I don't even know what to do with that information.
I don't know. So it'll be interesting. It almost like spins too when you jump up. So then you feel like, oh shit, I'm hanging by my fingertips. You can only do a few, or you're killing your grip for those hang kettlebell snatches. I don't know. It'll be really interesting. I mean, it's a cool, different implement.
And you have to go through these in order, right? So you have to do the 100 toes to bar, then you get to move on to the kettlebell snatch.
Yeah.
Wow. That kettlebell snatch is sneaky though, isn't it? Like 26 pounds seems like I could do those all day. And then you're going to get like 25 in going, damn, I can't do these all day.
Yeah, they're gross after those toes to bar. And after this floating bar, toe to bar, I can only imagine what my grip's going to feel like. I practice this, but yeah, exactly. I'm like not even going to want to. Yeah. Yep.
So have you just determined how you're going to do the kettlebell squats?
When I practiced it, I had them like almost like on my neck back here. I mean, I don't want them out front. I'm just tired and can't like support myself. So trying to get them up on my shoulders as much as possible.
Not overhead? Not.
Yeah.
show your dominance.
Yeah.
You just kind of keep looking at everybody like, what?
Event 6 re-ring. 4 time 14 or 12 ring muscle ups, 70 meter sled push, 45 pounds or empty, and then 14 to 12 ring muscle ups, time cap 5 minutes. And then that goes into something, right? Or they have another slide. Okay.
Correct. 2-minute rest into the event 7.
And then event 7 is rebag, 7 minute at the 7 minute mark, 7 sandbag to shoulder, 200, 125, 14, 12 parallel handstand push-ups, 14 inches, 9 inches, 7 sandbag to shoulder, 200, 125, time cap 5 minutes. So sprint, rest, sprint.
Yep.
That sandbag, though, the 125, do you think they're going to go touch and go?
Yeah, I think there will be a few that do. Not me.
I mean, you had the 150 2 weeks ago. You'd be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I told her. It's way lighter.
At least 25 pounds lighter.
Exactly. We'll see how the event 6 goes. I just feel like after those hundreds, and I only have like an hour and a half rest or something, I'm going to barely be able to do a ring muscle up at that point.
So Jody says, so many time cap events, or is it me? If you're trying to keep to a tight schedule, Jody, it is typical that there are time caps on every event. I think if you look at all the games events, they are all capped as well.
Yeah, I think she just means like, why are we not doing like a 10-minute AMRAP? You know?
Would you prefer an AMRAP?
No, I think that's fine. I'm wondering, because it's Z-score or P-score or whatever they're doing, if it makes sense to have times for everyone instead of trying to figure out an AMRAP. I don't know. I'm not smart.
Are they doing Z-score?
They are, and we'll talk about that after the events. So Sarah says, JR said, you're not allowed to do touch and go. You have to move it into a new spot every rep.
That is right. You do have to advance it forward every single rep.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I think the parallel handstand push-ups are going to be devastating to some people at this point in the competition.
Totally agree.
9-inch and 14-inch, that's crazy.
Well, think about all the grip work you did earlier and trying to get up on those parallels, dude. Like, that's going to hurt. That's a lot. And I don't mean just their hands. Like, that's going to hurt some feelings when people go to kick up and realize that, oh, crap, I don't know if I could actually kick up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and the shoulders on those toe to bar with a trapeze and kettlebell snatches, and however you're holding the kettlebell for the squats.
Right. Your shoulders are going to be, and then you just did a bunch of ring muscle ups, rested 2 minutes, and you're trying to do this.
Yeah.
It's gnarly.
We're gonna see some train wrecks at the handstand push-up station. Wow. And then, is that all the events?
That's it.
Yep.
That was the final. Yeah, that's the final. That little back-to-back thing.
So, and if you don't know, you can watch this on Savon's Instagram or YouTube channel. They're going to be covering every event. Do we know for sure they're covering Masters?
I don't know for sure, but I think so.
They better.
I would hope so. I mean,
if they don't, you rip those CEO wristbands off and throw them at Souza.
I'll have Ron go live from my phone on here, and we'll go. Masters will be on you.
All right, there we go. But Ronica will just keep you in frame, and then I won't get to see the rest of the competition.
Probably.
All right, cool. I'll go do a quick pan over. Like, here's everybody else.
Yeah.
Here's everybody else. Thanks, Ronica.
And then when everybody's up on the trapeze, yep, we'll play that music over the top.
Let me tell you something. If he's got a DJ or whoever playing in there, and they do not at least once play like big top music, as soon as somebody gets up, they're missing a great opportunity.
Wow.
Hopefully they hear this.
Can't believe that. So, Sarah, is Sarah Cooper there? She has all this insight.
I think she just watched the podcast.
Okay.
She's doing better than me. I probably should do that. I feel like I watched it. It was on last week's Shut Up and Scribble that he did with Taylor. I think they talked about it and we're kind of clear about that stuff, but I don't know.
They were. I only half-ass watched it. I had it all while I was working.
Yeah, regretfully today, my day job got busy. So I wasn't able to catch their show today.
I haven't watched it. I've been busy.
So Cory, you brought up Z-Score, and Jamie informed me right before we went live that they are doing a Z-Score. So as an athlete, how does that impact the way that you do an event? So like take Cory, for instance, at MFC, where in the triple threat event, he didn't have to go on to the overhead squats because nobody was going to catch him. So he just stopped.
Right.
In Z-Score, that's not beneficial to him, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would like, there's been so many times where I feel like at the games and stuff, like it would have been so beneficial to have Z-Score, because can you imagine what we may have seen out of like Matt in some events where he could just coast and he may would have still done that anyway because his point spread would have been maybe so high, but like if you're doing Z-Score, like it behooves you, like you're gonna get the most out of everybody every single event, like their absolute max every single event, and it probably changes the course of the entire weekend with cumulative fatigue. Like I just think it's cool to like really want to push, like you really want to see people's true capacity in every event, right? And it's kind of forcing you to do that.
Cory, your thoughts?
Oh yeah, no.
I'll be devil's advocate. I just want to give you an opportunity first.
No, Jamie's 100% correct. Like you said, at the games, and not just seeing like what Matt's really capable of at that point, but watching how the rest of the field ends up playing out, where you got these lone wolf guys that just win an event or something along those lines, but they just smash everybody else on it, right? So now all of a sudden they're affecting the entire leaderboard at that point because they're so far ahead of somebody else that they're going to get a lot more points just for winning one event. And maybe it helps their placement there. Maybe they end up getting some more money out of the deal, because of their higher placement and whatnot. So no, yeah, I'm very interested to see it. I didn't know that they were doing that until y'all said that. So I'm very interested to see how that actually going to play out this weekend.
It is, Sarah's right. It is P score, and I believe that means performance score. And I don't know how that differs from Z score. I don't know details. So maybe I need to do some research and figure out exactly what that means. But yeah, it is P score.
But it's still based on
your performance,
probably
I would assume.
your time away from the standard deviation of the rest of the. Because I mean, that's what all I've heard that them talk about is like the standard deviation is this, and if you're 4 standard deviations, you get so many more points or whatever.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing for me is, you know how like you see somebody out there like at Rogue, like that can't really do the handstand push-ups, or even if they can, like you always see somebody at the back, like, well, I've lost this event. How much more work do I want to do? Well, if it really matters, performance.
Why are we going to bring up handstands and Laura Horvath?
I wasn't even necessarily thinking of her. I was thinking that there was like a guy last year who like basically stopped out there. But like, I think you can get a negative score. So you're not going to want to just coast in and take the last, right? Like you actually need to like get everything you can get and stay as close to the person as you can.
Right. If it's going to be detrimental to you to just say, well, I'm not catching anybody in this heat, I'm just going to, take my foot completely off the gas, Well, now all of a sudden that makes a way more difference. Now it's actually going to take points back away from you, and we're not taking your foot off the gas anymore. What makes it for some more interesting races. Now, it also might make for some people
So,
making some really bad decisions.
so what you're saying is Roman would have gotten a negative score at the games because
Well,
he would not have been able to put forth the effort on those last two events, and that possibly could have taken him off the podium.
might have.
Yeah, that is possible. Yeah. We definitely need some more details regarding
Heat
this
off
piece.
my girl Laura, just to get the heat off my girl Laura and onto somebody else.
Look,
So-
I'll take that. I'll take that smoke. I would have made myself swim another lap if I'd have had that instead of just stopping with 42 seconds left and going, I'm good.
Absolutely. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, you're going to fight for every second rep that you can get, which adds a little bit of fatigue to you that you maybe wouldn't have gotten, right?
Right.
So I see that from the back end, but I ask you this as a Matt Fraser, is it more beneficial for me to get more points or to get more rest as my reward for doing so well?
So I think with Matt Fraser's mentality, he wants every single point.
I do
He
too.
said that.
Yeah.
He said
if
that.
I'm
He
Rich
wanted to
Froning-
beat
Rich
everybody.
Froning- If I'm Rich Froning, is it more important to get more points or more rest?
More points.
Wow. I don't think.
Why do you need more rest? Are you not fit enough to hang?
Yeah.
That's your reward. That's your reward for being so fit that
Yeah,
you
but-
didn't need to like sprint to the end.
But when Rich was competing, his best day was always Sunday anyway. So like he had
Right.
already had, he didn't need to rest. He was just going to smash everybody on Sunday.
Watched the field and did what it took on every event and no more. No wasted movement, no wasted energy. Because
know.
it is a 4-day event, right? And that
Yeah.
and do you want to be Noah Olsen who blows it out days 1 and 2 and has nothing left on 3 and 4? Or do you want to be Rich who like gauges it and makes his move where it's appropriate? That's just I'm just being the devil's advocate. And I'm not saying I'm against
I understand. Yeah.
or P
Yeah.
score or T score, whatever we call it. I'm just saying that as an athlete, in my swimming days, there were many days I swam 4 or 5 events a day, right? And if I had a big lead, it was much more beneficial for me to be able to coast on that last couple laps and still get the win and save myself for later in the day. Then if you would have given me a trophy and a half or whatever at the time, or that's just my thought process.
I'm sure there's still a way to game the P score even. Like, it's just probably a little more calculated. Like, if you're pretty confident you can win every event, you don't necessarily need to win them by a mile. Or like, I mean, if you're going to be within seconds of people, if you can stay there and hang, I guess you can figure out how to game it. You just need to know, you need to really know yourself in every event and every.
True. Because I can see it from like Emily Rolfe's position, like win the 5K by as much as you can freaking possibly win it, and get as many points as you can, because the lift is coming,
Right.
and I'm going to get the flip side of that, and hopefully I can reduce the damage by less points on that than I could make up on the points on this.
Mhm.
And that's where I'd have to see like what the point differential is on that standard deviation, like up and down, depending. Like I don't think Danny Spiegel's a good indicator for that, because she doesn't have like she has holes, but not like huge holes. Like I think Emily Rolfe is the great study to see, like on her home runs, can she make up enough points to not lose those points on a lift?
So
Yeah.
the 2016 trail run into the deadlift ladder, right? Matt wins that by what? He was 2 minutes in front of Josh by the time by the time they got done, and then he was what 32nd on the deadlift, and uh Sam Dancer did
Sam
last on
Dancer
the run
and
and,
last on the run.
and smashes everybody on. I mean, it wasn't even close, right? And it's not that Sam wasn't running that fast. That's just where he's at. I mean, he wasn't sandbagging it by any stretch of the imagination. Uh, but then got back in there and didn't even warm up and pulled what 6:05 or some crazy shit like that. Like it was insane. He's the only one that cleared it. So
Yeah, but in that case,
he's
Sam's hurt because he probably could have gone another bar, but it capped.
yeah,
Where the run, there is no cap. So that's got to be the careful thing too, right? Like,
right.
Yeah.
yeah.
Gonna be interesting to see it play out.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and watch. So Sarah is our resident podcast viewer of all podcasts. I'll have to go back and find that Tyler one and see what P score is as opposed to Z score.
Yeah, I need to look it up too. I need to be aware of what I'm dealing with.
Am I the only person that keeps hearing Peace Corps every time somebody says P score? Like Peace
You
Corps?
are. Not.
Celebrate
do
the
the
P
heart.
score.
Isn't that how you got like 2 hearts to come up? I thought there it is. Oh,
Let's see.
Wow.
Because Savon did it today and like there was
he did
fireworks.
that's the 2 thumbs up. I don't know.
It's not just us, Scott.
Yeah, I think you have to be on an Apple. So
I do
I'm
too.
on a Windows laptop. So I'd have to be on my phone to do it.
Do it again.
All right. So anything else you want to talk about? How was it with Tristan today? Did you get any time in with him?
I picked him up at like 5:30. So I mean he's only been here 3 hours. And
I didn't know if you guys got to the gym and
we did, yeah. So I brought him back to the room and then we quickly went over to the gym to show him. I wanted to show him the handstand walk and the moguls because they were a little different than I was expecting.
ACR just needs the hand gesture stuff.
And the flip sled. Basically, just kind of, I showed him the Zercher, showed him the height, and the flip sled, just the 2 for tomorrow, and looked at and did the obstacle course real quick. So yeah.
What are his thoughts on the trapeze?
Oh yeah, we did do that. We did talk about that, and I jumped up there, and yeah, he was very interested to see it too because like I told him what it was, and he couldn't quite comprehend, and so. I mean, I don't know. Like he thinks it's cool. Like both he and I are like, we should need to get these for the gym. Like it's a cool, different implement. It's just something different. And JR is good at like finding those different things and trying different things.
So does it move as much like as if you were doing like tilted rings? Like you're just dangling like from a ring, but it's one bar?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
All he really wants to know is does it move as much as the one in his bedroom?
You know?
Sorry.
Add to Amazon cart.
All right. So all weekend long, we're going to be checking in with you every night, hopefully, or Ronica or Tristan or someone from the crew or all of you, whatever that is, each night, see how Crash is going. I'm going to binge the whole damn weekend so we can talk about that every night. So super excited about that. But for now, let's move on to another thing that impacts Jamie. And that is CrossFit made the announcement this week that it is using partners to host the games for age groups and adaptives. Formerly, it will be Legends that will be hosting Masters. It will be the Pit Fitness Ranch that is hosting for teens. And it will be Wheelwad that is hosting for adaptive. The approach
Your internet is.
Yeah, you sound like a transformer, Scott. That's not,
I think he's frozen
oh yeah, big frozen.
my frozen still.
a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Your face hasn't moved in 30 seconds.
Oh,
Wait, hold on. Max headroom. We're moving again.
Damn it.
oh no. So yeah, so he wants to go over the
100%.
the Masters, which you and I have already discussed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know my thoughts on it. And I don't want to be negative about it, which I told Scott, like I feel like I'm always coming across negative. And I mean, I can only have an opinion off of what I know right now, which is very little, right? And I'm just
Correct.
you're just making assumptions. So it's like I guess I just have to wait for more information to come out to really assess it. Because as it stands, I find like a lot would have to change for it to really be beneficial.
So like you and I were talking about, right? The main things that we wouldn't want to see is actual payouts that make sense. Like it's got to be worth everybody's time to actually go. Coverage, like not my phone strapped to a
Hmm.
Seagull somewhere. We hope it's getting in there. Actual coverage with actual people doing commentating and whatnot, and not just for us, for all of it. Like
Hmm.
if the team's gonna get their own thing, then they should get like it should be the same for everybody. Same thing with adapters. If we're gonna separate it like that, then we need to put wouldn't say necessarily the exact same energy, but close to the same energy that we are putting in for the games into the other things. If Crash can do it and have it live stream, granted we're doing it on Savant's channel, but still going to be live streamed, then I'm pretty sure we can make it happen for Legends and Pit and Wheel.
Right. Totally
Okay,
agree.
look, it's Scott.
So what I miss?
Me doing this.
Oh, yeah, we got the one thumb. Yay. No, we started talking about my thoughts on it and Corey's thoughts on it, and just I can't make too much of an opinion on it until more information comes out. Just more so like if I have to make assumptions or basically going off the way things have been, like a lot needs to change for it to actually be beneficial.
What we were
Yeah.
saying, Scott, was the three things. To me, Jamie had this conversation the other day. So payouts that actually make sense for masters, like make it worth their time to go. Uh, Actual coverage of some shape, form, or variety, and not just my phone strapped to a freaking stand somewhere that you can barely see or hear what's going on the floor. And the same things, not just for the masters community, but the same things for the teens and the same things for the adapters. And then
Yeah,
if it's and then let the chips fall where they may. Like if it gets support, it gets support. If it doesn't, then it doesn't, and we can move on from there. But everybody deserves the same chance.
so it's just you guys, right? Just us talking. So I'm gonna say what I really feel right now.
Okay.
I think at this moment in time, there are 3 Masters divisions that deserve the full spotlight. 35 to 39, 40 to 44, and 45 to 50. The sport is not old enough to grow the rest of those divisions in a place where it warrants a televised full coverage games. And it doesn't mean that it never will, but at this point, it just the sport is not old enough to have people age up into those divisions. So why put the money into that? Why not cover the stuff that people are interested in? If you go to the games, the Masters are the crowd is much bigger for 35 through 50, 35 through 49 than it is for the rest of the divisions.
Yeah, that's fair.
And when you get to the like older divisions like 60 and 65 up, you're lucky to get enough people to make the games. Like you go to like Masters Fitness Collective, you have 3 participants.
Yep.
Like those divisions have to grow before I think we should put money in to covering those, right? They're just not there. And that's reality.
Yeah.
It may not be PC, it may not be what everybody wants to hear, but it's the truth.
Yeah. That's been an issue that I've had, and it's hard because like I have Jim, right, who's 65 plus, but like Jim and I went to Legends and got the exact same prize payout. Jim and I went to MFC last year and got the exact same prize payout. So far, Jim and I finished same place this year. We've got the same thing. No money at MFC. We got like a cooler bag and a coupon that you have to figure out how to redeem to get the shoes. And like some grips and some water thing. That's what we won. Jim did not pay for a qualifier. I had to pay for a qualifier to even get there. Jim just got to sign up. And like you said, there's only 3 of them. And so we're essentially, if he gets the exact same payout as me, we're essentially, as the younger crowd that has 80 people plus that sign up, and it's still not huge. It needs to be bigger even at the younger ages, but like we have a bunch of people that try the qualifier to make it, to fight tooth and nail at the event. And like, it's just a walk in and show up and pick up some money or swag or whatever for Jim, equal to what I got to fight, had to fight tooth and nail for. And so like that, and that's why at the games, it's 25,000 for the 35 to 39. And it's not for the older, but like they aren't doing that at Legends or MFC. MFC isn't even, as of right now, even paying out, which I don't know how they expect to get any big names to come to their comp. That was a ton of hard work for almost nothing. I mean, you're not even getting, we got some money last year and maybe they will do it this year, but like, you're not even getting back your registration fee.
I'll be right back, guys.
Yeah, I totally get it. And that's what I mean. I think I think tough decisions have to be made. And by giving this off to a partner person to do, it makes it easier on CrossFit.
Yeah.
Right? It has to be done. Nobody wants to sit and watch 8 straight hours of the same event.
Right.
It's not feasible.
Right.
It's not sustainable. If you want the Masters community to grow, you're going to have to cut it. And I'm not saying that 50 and up don't have a games, but they like maybe no coverage for now. Maybe no, you know what I mean?
Yeah, highlight reels. It's like the things that they do. Like I loved seeing like Yoke Digoff or whatever, the 70-year-old, like her reel that they put together of her pull up, like some highlight movements. Like if someone gets in there and gets some of these like amazing things that they're doing and puts together some content of them, I think that's like maybe the route to take for now, because they do some amazing things. But yeah, I mean, it sucks. Like you do need to stream it. Like people do want to watch it. I don't know. I don't know if their families will be there, but not everyone can travel. There will be people that want to tune in. That was evident. People tried to tune in this year, even on the security cam footage.
Right. But what we have to, and I thought about this, like, were people tuning in to be part of the bitch session, or were they tuning in because they wanted to see the event? Right? Did people just come in to be part of the joke? Or did they, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, I don't know either. I don't know who was there for real and who was there because their buddy went, you're not going to believe the footage they're throwing out there for Masters. And then people jumped on to see it and then jumped in the chat to just be part of the rail. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think the only way that it becomes as cool as the games is that Legends is going to have to say, we're only going to 50 or 49. We'll honor 50 and up in a way, but we can't give it the same full-blown coverage and the same full-blown event that happens for the others. And it's probably a good place to like divide what the workouts are anyway.
Yeah.
Right. Because I am a CrossFit junkie and I can't sit and watch 8 divisions do the same workout all day. It just like, it gets to be too much.
So I would think about it like when we're watching, if you're watching the games at home, generally speaking, at least the first heat, maybe the first 2 heats, you're just watching them on the floor when they're being broadcast, right? You might be able to hear, because like Chase and whoever, are not commentating at that point. They don't commentate until the heat start with the people that matter, for lack of a better word. So it'd be that I would think to have any kind of coverage, like you're saying, what you're saying is correct. 35, 39, 40, 44, 45, 50, probably deserves the actual attention or whatever you want to call it. So everybody else is still there doing their thing, but the only people that you're highlighting necessarily are those 3 divisions, because that's only going to be, I mean, if you got 20 people there, you could have 20 people in a heat per age division. And that'd be a whole lot easier and probably cheaper at that point to cover than it is trying to do, like you're saying, instead of trying to do every single person that's out there, God bless Jim, but once he gets out there, and Jim Peeper in lane 3, like nobody's, and Jim's awesome, but people aren't tuning in on YouTube or whatever to watch it. You're not wrong.
Right. And I hate video or stream footage of a 20 heat or 20 person heat.
It's hard to watch.
Everybody complains every year when Wadapalooza goes that you can't see the race at all because it's so damn wide.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to make it work, it has to be done right for the people who are drawing in the viewers. And viewers will tune in for those 3 divisions because you know the names, right? They've aged up through, or they've become podcast hosts, or they've done whatever, right?
Well, especially like 35 to 39. I mean, he's talking about the Scott Pancheks and I mean, Rich ain't going, but Fronings and Sam Dancers and whatnot. Like everybody knows who those people are.
Everybody knew Stacy Tovar and Danny Horan, and in 4044 you knew Sam Briggs and Becca Voigt and Jen Ryan. You just know the names.
Yep.
And people tune in for those.
Well, I mean, myself personally, and like my training partner and the guys that we know, like we want to see those guys because those are guys that I can identify with. Like those dudes have jobs, generally speaking. Those dudes have families and careers and stuff that they need to take care of, and they're happen to be competing in the games. So like I get, I'll say I took it personally, but like this year's coverage was such crap, dude. And like I had friends of mine who were competing, and you couldn't. It was like watching ants run around out there. You could hear the announcer, but it didn't do you any good because you couldn't tell what lane was going on, where, what was actually happening.
Yeah.
And they crammed men and women on the same floor at the same time.
Yeah.
It just was bad. And that's what I'm hoping that this split off will do. It will give everybody the spotlight. I think they're going to have to be careful how they do it. I'm for including all the groups that can draw some people in, but I really seriously think if they're going to make it work and have the money to do what needs to be done to attract all the names, they're going to have to cut divisions. And you can still honor those people in a way. You can let them have a games, just not cover it. Just won't have the prize money. But you got to tell them up front until we get the numbers in your division.
Yeah, just to be upfront about it, and that way the people that are there will still want to be there.
It almost like needs to be a percentage of, well, and this goes back to how they're setting this up, but I feel like the prize payout somehow needs to represent the open participation per age group. Right? I mean,
It's us.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think that can be the only factor.
sure, there's got probably more than that, but like that's a good place to like look and see like, all right, are there 10,065 plus year olds signing up, or are there 200? Like, okay, and like, I mean, if we can start to figure out where they originate from and how many are trying to participate in this sport.
Yeah. I see what you mean there. And the highest percentage is 35 to 49.
Exactly.
I mean, we're told that every year.
Exactly.
And I think if you looked at ratings, or you can't even use that this year because there wasn't good enough coverage to even count that. But I can look at butts and seats and in the Coliseum, and there were way more for 35 to 49 than there were for any other divisions that went off that day, including the teens.
Including the teens and including the teams, which I got in a little bit of an argument with somebody on that. Like, they're like, no, that's not true. And I'm like, I was sitting there in the Coliseum watching. Like,
the individuals were done, the seats cleared.
Yeah.
Yep. Agreed.
And that's wild to me because I enjoy watching the teams go. Like watching all four people have to go and figure out how to do whatever it is they're doing. Like that's fun to watch. I mean, I don't think it's any less fun to watch than what the individuals are doing, just because now you're having to move as a unit most of the time. And there's something satisfying about watching people fail like a worm clean or something like that, or like all of a sudden just shit just goes sideways.
I think when you're watching the stream, teams are fine. When you're at the Coliseum, it's utter chaos.
Yes.
Even as a big of a fan of the sport as I am, and I loved watching teams on the stream, it was hard to follow. It's just a compact space with too many people, and you just can't even tell like who's who. And I don't know if that goes to like they need to do a better job of color coordinating the teams. Like this team's blue and this team's red and this team,
that could be cool.
Every sport you watch or every game show you watch, the teams are in different colors, so you know who's on what team. Maybe that makes it easier to see them.
Well, first of all, no bill would have to actually add color.
Well, they're not on
Is
the
it-
logo anymore.
Yeah.
If you look at the press release that came out, the CrossFit Games logo doesn't have Noble on it.
I did not
Anymore.
notice that, but I believe you. That's great.
Does it have anything on it?
Well, their contract was up this year. It was up in
Right.
2023 regardless. So it just may mean that they don't have a signed contract with anybody right now.
Okay.
I'm not calling for the demise of Noble, but we all know the end of the relationship didn't look, or the end of this year, Noble was definitely not as active as they were, but they're the ones who put up the prize purse. And they put it up for every division. And so that is key to where we go with these partnerships.
Yes.
Is the title sponsor for the game still going to put it up for all of the partners? Or does each partner have to have its own title sponsor to put up the prize money for it? Like, those are details that we need to see.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not going to know that till we have a signed deal on a title sponsor.
Well,
And go ahead, Jim.
it already says like Pit Fitness and Legend tier or First Form Legends is the games for the Masters. So like I feel like they've already said it's First Form Legends games, not tiered,
Well,
or whatever it might be.
First Form is this year's sponsor. And Victory Grips was the sponsor for Pitt this year. But I don't think they had agreements beyond.
Okay. Yeah, that would be important information to know.
Yeah, because one Masters athlete told me he heard a rumor that Tier was going to be the title sponsor of Legends next year.
Which is we all kind of think they may be the game sponsor next year.
Yeah, I'm hearing conflicting information on that now, but sure, that's a possibility.
With the way tier is going right now,
For BP, veteran owned.
Oh.
I mean, with tier's trajectory right now, nobody would be surprised if it would be the tier CrossFit Games.
Yeah, I wouldn't be.
They have their hands in everything right now.
Yeah,
This is just a rumor. So I'm saying that again, just a rumor. But I heard that previous people at CrossFit soured the relationship between Tier and CrossFit.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not naming names, and I probably don't even know all what happened, but I'm just hearing that as a rumor. I do not have that confirmation right now.
Sarah, thank you for that information. I'll go watch that when I get off of here.
Yeah, I'll go watch that too. And that's funny. I always watch Spin till I get annoyed.
I must have missed that one.
Till either I throw my laptop because of John Young or I get annoyed with Tyler.
Yeah.
And I love them both. Honestly. But man, there's times I want to debate John so much.
I know.
All right, so we talked Masters. Let's talk teen real quick, and then we'll get moving on because you got to get to sleep. So, teen, I'm happy for Stephanie. I'm happy for Coach Yost. Can't remember his first name right now. Shoot.
I can't either.
Anyway, they're good people. I'm glad they got it. They've been doing this in the teen division for years. They were the right choice for this. You went to the Pitt Fitness Ranch this year and saw their big event. Great event. well run, lots of kids, but no place for spectators.
Very, very tight. 2 little bleachers, and yeah, I feel like they're going to have to be very specific about, okay, you walk in for this heat and you need to leave. And so like the next families can come in for this heat, because it is very small in there. And I think it's going to be challenging to create some programming, some workouts that like maybe you would want, like you're limited on what you can program or heat sizes you can have, or like what you can actually do. Like the handstand walk that they did was in a very tight space. I don't even know if it was 25 feet. Maybe it was, but it might have only been 20 feet. Like it's just, it almost needs to be like they need a bigger pole barn to fit all this. The outside is wonderful, and maybe they will become more of an outdoor type games because they have so much space and just available land to do God knows what with. They've got the lake pond there, so maybe theirs will look more outdoorsy than anything else. Any of the other venues seem to be all like going towards indoors, and that's the route it seems they want to go so that they can move it around to any facility. But yeah, their indoor facility there, the programming has to be extremely creative.
Yeah, the charm of it is they say it's very much like the ranch.
Yeah, outdoor was so cool. I can see the appeal to it.
Yeah. But if you watch anything at the ranch, very little is done indoors at the ranch.
Right.
So, but it'll be interesting to see what they do. And if you can get any media coverage in there. I know for years they had trouble with just getting cell service and Wi-Fi into there because it's a very remote location, probably just like the ranch. And to get any media coverage outside of a couple people, it doesn't look like there's a ton of room for that.
Right.
So there's that. And then just finish up with wheel wad. If I've talked to and this is where I broke up before, I've talked to tons of adaptive athletes. They view wheel wad as their CrossFit Games anyway.
Oh, there you go.
You know, it has more of the divisions. It has tons of stuff with where the wheelchairs can get on the floor. So they can include all of the divisions as opposed to just the handful that get to come to the CrossFit Games. So I think they're probably cool with it being done by wheel wad anyway.
Makes it more of a logical progression at that point.
Correct. And I've never seen the Wolf of Wall Street, so I can't know that.
Is that
sure.
Wolf of Wall Street on the TV? Yes, it is.
It is.
No, Todd Myers asked. Sure is.
Then the last thing I want to talk about before we get Jamie to bed and root her on tomorrow is that all this talk this week about CrossFit is over, CrossFit is dead. I see the statistics and I understand it all. And I do think we're in a dip, but I think the dip is because one, there's no consistency and it shakes the belief in CrossFit as a whole. And now Jamie's out.
Am I back?
And she's back.
You're back.
So there's no consistency, so that shakes the belief in the organization that runs it. I think that there was a dip in media, and the media that has come in, and including ourselves, is covering the top tier athletes all the time and nothing more.
Mm-hmm.
What makes fringe sports great are the personalities. And you can't know the personalities just covering the top 20. right? People watch American Ninja Warrior because of the little vignettes that are done before the person takes the course, not because of the athleticism on the course, because they're rooting for this guy because his wife has MS, or they're rooting for this guy because he donated a kidney, or whatever it is, right? They all have a story. And that's what's missing. And I know Hiller is pounding the drum that media. CrossFit is a media company. And when they got rid of the media, that's when the downfall happened. And I completely agree. We stopped telling the stories.
Mm-hmm.
We stopped telling the stories of all the people that we didn't know. There were all these, like, I remember it was 2014, Road to the Games. Heber and Mars were Heber was off doing the Froning 4 thing. And then they started showing all these other athletes, and it got me interested in Lindsay Valenzuela and all those, and Josh Bridges and Brooke Entz and all those people that I'd never heard of before.
Mm-hmm.
And we've attempted to do that with our semifinal spotlights, where we bring on in those athletes and try to get to know them, hear their personal stories and what's about. And I think more people need to do that. More people need to highlight all of those athletes so that you have a rooting interest. There's a reason why Colton Mertens is so popular, right? It's not because he's the best. It's because he's the most interesting.
He really is. That's a fact.
He's kind of like the underdog.
Yeah. And if you don't know who those underdogs are, then you can't root for them.
And once you get Colton's story, you're like, holy crap. Like, this dude gets up literally at the crack of dawn to feed the pigs and take care of the pigs. And then he goes and trains. Like, he is not just, that's really his life. He's not, I'm going to sleep till 9 a.m. to make sure I get all 10 hours in, or whatever the case may be. Like, the dude's got stuff to do.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm saying is there are 40 more stories that we uncovered in those semifinal spotlights. People dealing with autoimmune disorders, people fighting through different challenges to get to where they are. And those stories aren't getting told.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's perfect.
Colton got lucky because Savon attached to him and liked him and told his story to a ton of people and got him exposure that he would have gotten through conventional media.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah,
No, that's
exactly. Yeah.
That is a hard fact.
And that's why CrossFit's on a downturn, because nobody knows the stories and nobody knows who to root for.
Yeah.
Nobody latches on to, gosh, I can't even think right now. But back in it, like, I was a huge fan of Stacy Tovar. She only finished in the top 10 one time.
But everybody knows who she is.
Right, because we did a much better job back then telling their story that she was a pianist and she was a college volleyball player and she did all these other things, right? And that's why I latched onto her, not because of what she did on the floor.
Yeah.
I just found her interesting. That's just one example. There's 100 more. Before Colton Mertens was Marcus Hendren. He was a farmer. And people loved him, and you would see his jersey in the stands, and he never finished on the podium.
Yeah.
No, and that, like you said, that's for everyone that you can think of. There's another 5 or 6 that it's not even coming to mind right now, but it's the same type deal.
Right.
Those stories are out there, but there's no.
Brooke Entz is a huge one, right? Nobody knew who she was until she did the videos for CrossFit, right? And then they started to feature her. Then she took advantage of that by capitalizing on it with her Instagram and taking that following and having a husband that was a videographer at the time.
Yeah.
And all of those things, right? But she took that. There was a wave that she had to catch. Like she couldn't have went out without the other stuff first and just started having her husband film her. And maybe she would have been like a fitness influencer, but she wouldn't have been like what she became in the CrossFit space.
Yeah, to this day, people still know who she is.
Mm-hmm.
She wouldn't have been in Wonder Woman had it not been for any of that.
There had to be an initial wave for her to catch. And then she took full advantage of that situation. But anyway, those are my initial thoughts. We can talk about it more. We can talk about it more next week, but Jamie has to get to bed. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you. Kenneth, that is not my husband. That's my coach. Aaron would not trim his beard that much.
Good luck tomorrow. We'll be
you.
texting and staying up, and then we'll get a show out tomorrow night with somebody, depending on how Jamie's feeling.
Okay.
Either Tristan or you or Ron or whatever.
Yeah.
We'll get something out. And if Cory wants to jump on, he's always welcome. So
We'll see.
He's a busy
Football game
man.
tomorrow night. High school football tomorrow night. Suns in the band.
Friday Night Lights.
Night
Yep.
lights.
no pressure.
Fun.
Just you're always welcome.
Appreciate it, brother. Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for jumping on. And Tristan is now known as Krispy Kreme because of that one shirt he wore.
Yes. Your coach, Krispy Kreme.
Well, on that note, we will let everybody say good night and catch you tomorrow on the stream. And Cory says goodbye with love.
Bye,
Talk to you
guys.
all then.
We about to change